To tell you the truth, I've never considered anything about an older woman to be appealing or desirable, which is a challenge when it comes to dating and developing romantic connections. The one and only exception to this rule is that women who are significantly smaller than a cow can nevertheless deliver a terrific sexual experience for their partners. Especially when they're well on their way to appearing their age, or younger, if that's the aim. I just don't understand why some women act in such a way, and it's especially puzzling to me when they do so when they're already successful in looking their age. A man who has already been through the process of becoming a parent advises his male friends not to rely on older women as a source of kids since they can be unpredictable. He contends that if they do so, they will be forced to resort to expensive treatments such as in vitro fertilization, IVF, when they could have conceived naturally and saved a significant amount of money. Even better would be if they were infertile, so that even if you horrible men screamed the hole into her sticky embrace as often as you wanted, she wouldn't become pregnant no matter how frequently you did it. It would be to everyone's advantage if they were incapable of having children. When I see people in their 20s and 30s dating folks in their 40s and 50s, I have no choice but to scratch my head and think, what the heck is this? When I see people in their 20s and 30s dating those in their 40s and 50s, I have to ask myself, what the heck is this? While it makes sense to me for a man in his 60s or 50s to date a woman in her 30s or 35s, it baffles me when I see people in their 20s and 30s dating those in their 40s and 50s. If there is an issue with these individuals, things ought to be made a great deal worse. There will be a lot of pressure from your friends and family for you to keep seeing your ex-girlfriend, even if she isn't worth the effort. As a result, the fact that I am interested in the path that our society will take in the future is not a positive thing. Who is it exactly that is putting pressure on men to jump into partnerships before they are ready to do so? And believe me when I say that I would never in a million years want to wake up next to an older XEX every single day. The majority of them don't like being around to begin with and tend to have a pessimistic outlook on life as a result of the fact that they ruined their lives when they were younger. I would never want to do that. Ever. Because I have a bias, and that bias isn't against older women. I've never buried my salami with an older lady. But it doesn't mean I don't like older women. For some reason, I've always been more attracted to younger ladies. They are never willing to make concessions, and their complaining is incessant. They are heartless, and on top of that, they have a lot of problems of their own that they need to deal with. Sporadic moments of happiness, unending gloom, and other such things. The things that have happened to me up to this point have been really terrifying. If you don't believe me, I challenge you to move in with an elderly lady and share a house with her. Just tell me that after giving any married man, middle-aged or older, a very hard look, you don't find him to be an empty shell. I don't care what age he is. Wandering aimlessly without any specific objective in mind and without any company, there is no shortage of younger and middle-aged men who are interested in older women, and the fact that they do so makes me wonder whether or not they are making a mistake, whether or not they simply aren't successful in attracting younger women, or whether or not they are simply looking for a long-term commitment from an older woman. When I watch, I can't help but feel that those men have no business being there at all. This is simply the perspective that I have for myself, so please don't take it the wrong way. I'm interested to learn the reasoning behind why you choose to date women that are so much older than you are. It shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone in your social circle that the members of your group think men have a responsibility to provide sufficiently for the women who are in committed relationships with them. Always keep in mind that unless the older woman is financially independent, you will require financial assistance later in life, and that everyone around you will celebrate and encourage her when she begins dating a younger man. If the older woman is not financially independent, you will need financial assistance later in life. Want for women to receive care and to always be in the best setting possible, even if this results in men being placed in an unfavorable position. If you want to be successful in the financial realm, you just can't disregard that truth. As head coach Greg Adams likes to say, the wonders of current technology have made it possible for even a woman who is considered to be leftover to look extremely excellent for her age. The empowerment of women is really important. Nevertheless, in today's environment, even a lady who is considered to be leftover can still look amazing for her age. As a consequence of this, men will be drawn to women who, with just a little amount of effort, can give the impression that they are in their 20s. We look for young couples whose partners have had cosmetic operations such as Botox, hair color, or buttocks implants so that we can satisfy our need to see attractive young couples. These surgeries include the addition of buttocks. If you're having problems comprehending what I'm trying to convey, take it into consideration. Because everyone is aware of the standard questions that young people ask on dates, no one bats an eye at X-to-Says who can make up their looks like clowns and still look wonderful. In addition, X-to-XS are able to change up their appearances to look like clowns and still receive a fantastic response. Always keep in mind that finding a life partner is a competition between the sexes. If you go against the norm and advise that females analyze their own similarity, then it is implied that women feel the pressure to compete with one another for the attention of the best men, and that they will feel humiliated if you suggest that women evaluate their own similarity. They are willing to use any means, legal or otherwise, to accomplish what they set out to do. The amount of money that is accessible as well as the number of potential partners will have a role in the decision-making process. You'll hear comments like, "She's young enough to be your daughter," "You're a pervert because you want this 22-year-old lady," and the best shame of all is that she will only use you for your money because the more men date younger women, the fewer men older women have a choice of to date. This is why you'll hear comments like those. It is common knowledge that the majority of unwanted XX have very little to offer other than the possibility of producing children's luggage for fathers who are cash-strapped due to, for example, insanity, the itch, or an inability to conceive naturally and must therefore rely on modern pharmaceuticals to do so. The vast majority of men have this understanding, and if they were aware of the horrible treatment they may anticipate from women like that, they would never choose women like that again. However, the value of these women should not be minimized if the society is to be successful in making its lie plausible. Someone will take them away from him if he chooses to ignore the shame and carry out his plans regardless of what others think of him. My hope is that he would come to understand that a man who is unduly concerned with the social position of women is defenseless against any woman. If you take them into consideration, you'll walk right into the trap of feeling guilty that other men have set up expressly for you. Men were urged to date older women in the expectation that they would ultimately get desensitized to the negative connotations that such partnerships entail. The goal was that this would happen eventually. Sadly, this is the only method that can be used to stop the male plantation workers from looking for more female workers to exploit and from taking advantage of the surplus of female labor. I merely want them to understand how big of a joke it is that they are playing on themselves and why it is to their benefit to be used in whatever way possible.